I click the links to join the channel here or over on Subscribe. So before we get into this, keep in mind there's a reason for due process for every accusation. Otherwise, you have a society that's devolved to the level of witch trials and lynch mobs. Even the most horrific accusations are not proof in and of themselves. They require due process. You have to authenticate things. Otherwise, you can just destroy people's lives simply with a social media post. And like, how many Jussie Smollett situations you have to see? Um, to kind of realize that not everything is as it seems. So with this guy Mohan Kapur, and you say that on social media, like, oh yeah, due process, witch trials aren't such a great thing, and people just lose their mind. It's like, I'm applying that to everyone. On like, just that's a blanket. If you want to live in a civilized society, you have to abide by due process. Otherwise, the society has a way of just getting rid of unpopular people, just or witch trials, like that old lady living alone in the forest. Anyway, so Mohan Kapur, I think he's an actor in India. He said like he's made films over there. He's accused of grooming a 15-year-old girl, and he was on the Ms. Marvel Disney Plus series. I don't think anyone saw Ms. Marvel Disney Plus series, because why would you? So I suspect he's not on the season two, if they're having a season two. So allegedly he's sending pictures back and forth, pictures of himself. Like, I don't know why you like 14-year-old girl or 15-year-old is that's really not the thing they're focused on at the time, especially from a 50-year-old guy. Yeah, there's a lot of weirdos in Hollywood. Like he deserves due process, but like, keep it 100. It's like, the odds of, oh, she had another Disney groomer. Shocking. Anyway, so he's in a relationship at the time, and she says that his wife allegedly knew that he was sending a 15-year-old these kind of messages, and she didn't care. So I don't know what was going on with the whole family. It turns out like social media has shown you that there's a lot of really weird people in the world who are just not they don't want to live in a society that you want to live in. They want to live in a radically different society. And like, I look at that, and like yesterday's video, I say, to the point, this is so far now where it would be better to like split up into separate sub societies so people can and I mean by law, not just by geographic. I mean by law, like set up little sub societies to live as they wish. Like, we want to have a whole society cut off from Disney propaganda and like cultural Marxism and the Bolshevik kind of nonsense. Yeah, that would be worth looking into. So if you remember with Disney, Ron DeSantis, and libs of TikTok stuff that came out a couple years ago about the anti-grooming kids, because it turns out the teachers, these blue-haired weirdo teachers, were grooming kids and focusing on their sexuality and using compelled language to force them to use pronouns. And like, if you're a kid in that situation, if I was a kid, God, I was awesome. I was such a shitlord. I was asking good questions as a kid. You're saying like, oh, what if a kid says, you're talking about these pronouns, you go, oh, I don't believe in that. I think well, I know there's only boys or girls, and compelled speech is not a good thing, and you're asking people to believe in these absurdities, and I kind of suspect that atrocities are right down the line. So I'm not going to use somebody's preferred pronouns because they're not accurate. You're asking me to speak a lie, and if I don't remember that, what was that Rhode Island Supreme Court case about live free or die. That was a little bit different because or even the bake the cake case, or the fuck the draft case. If I was a kid in like a grammar school, I'd be like, yeah, so I'm not gonna boohoo. I'm not gonna take part in your psych op. I'm just not gonna do it. Like, what happens to those kids? They go pick a pronouns, and these are preferred pronouns. He goes, yeah, but those are lies. I'm not gonna use somebody's preferred pronoun. I'm gonna use the biologically accurate pronoun. It's like, is the teacher gonna accept diversity, inclusion, equity, kindness, and compassion? Yeah, but my belief system is that you're all a bunch of Bolshevik parasites, and I'm not going to use your pronouns because it's a lie, and you're compelling me using social pressure to speak a lie. Now, do you respect that diversity of thought? And suddenly, the blue-haired weirdo teacher with the nose ring is like, no, we don't actually respect diversity of thought. We respect Bolshevik propaganda. And the thing is with these blue haired freaking weirdo teachers, and like, God, they're the ugliest people on earth. It's like, I know why you're so angry. Is because, or why you want to like do this protective coloration to make yourself stand out somehow. Because you're just like there's nothing special about you. Like there's nothing sticking out. So you've got to do something to say, oh, I'm at least I'm part of this woke herd. I'm something. I'm part of something. I believe in something. It's like just it would be better to go to church and be like a hardcore Christian, or get involved in something else, become pagan, ethno, tribal, national, kind of whatever you want. Like get involved in anything other than like this, just to be a puppet, a tool for these Bolshevik puppet masters. God, that's the cringiest thing. Now we're gonna use pronouns. Oh no, Bianca, raising your hand again to give us talk about the Frankfurt School and the Saul Alinsky and the cultural mark. I just don't suspect I'd be doing too well in school if I was in school today. Um, anyway, so it's Disney sexualizing kids. Yeah, you shouldn't be talking about sex with kids or BLT stuff or pronouns because it presumes this foundational argument of the pronoun thing. One, it presumes that it's real, and you look at them and go, "Oh, it's not real. None of it's real. It's all just cultural Marxist propaganda." But it also deals with the concept of how you view yourself. It's like, well, you're male or female. You can't identify as anything else because you're there is that binary. Um, and then it also kind of goes into the area of their sexuality. And you're talking about people who are under the age of 18. There's no need to talk about this. You want to talk about the birds and the bees and the biology of the ovum and the fallopian tubes and all that kind of stuff. Great, by all means, give that lecture on the. Tell us all about the ectopic and the whatever the fallopian stuff, the uterus. It sheds its lining every two. Yeah, fine. Yeah, yeah. Boys really need to know about that. That's fascinating. Um, but all that other stuff is kind of focusing on kids and sexuality. It's like, yeah, that's grooming. Like just the pronoun itself is this slippery slope. Like just my example. If you're a kid and you go, yeah, I don't believe in all that. I think it's all Bolshevik propaganda. I don't think it's real, even without like the political aspects of it. You're saying something that is objectively scientifically wrong. You're asking me to repeat a lie. So is it okay? I mean, will I be punished if I don't? We use social pressure to get me to comply with speaking what I know to be a lie. Bigot says what? Yeah, I kind of can't help feel that the blue-haired weirdo teacher with the nose rings and just all this like attention-seeking nonsense behavior. If someone comes out and says like they're not on board with it, they'd probably be ostracized. Would they be made? Would they be disenfranchised, marginalized, and oppressed, or would they be allowed to stay with? Would you respect that diversity of thought and allow them to use biologically accurate pronouns? I don't know. I don't know what happens in schools. I don't know how far off they've gotten, but I do know that schools are not the answer. Homeschools and small base nationalist schools are definitely going to be the way forward. So yeah, Disney's grooming kids. They do this Zoom call. This was horrific. This was effing horrific. They're talking about their BLT was it Lando pansexual dong lover? That guy had the best name. And your BLT furry otherkin kid. Are any of these things real? Well, pansexual. What does pansexual mean? Oh, it means you're attracted to both men and women. Okay, I get fair enough. That's real. You're attracted to men and women. Um, but like, are you, or are you just doing it for like attention-seeking behavior? I would tell people today, listen, you can't unsuck a dick. You really want to think about. I'm just exploring these things. I'm in. It's like, whatever. It's like, are you really? Do you really feel this way, or is it externally? No, no. This is. It's not a phase, Dad. It kind of feels like it might be a phase. I mean, like 20 years ago, where was this stuff 20 years ago? It just popped into it. It was art. It was repressed. It was repressed by the man. It was being repressed. It kind of feels like it's artificially inflated. Anyway, yeah, Disney's grooming kids. Why the fuck would you be watching Disney? Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next episode.